Well, today I want to talk about the Voting Rights Act. Recently, the Supreme Court gutted Section 5. They had taken away Section 2 in 2013, which motivated a lot of states to change their voting laws and things that they used to have to go to the federal government to get permission to change some of their voting laws. Basically, countries of the old states of the old Confederacy needed to get, permission from the federal government to change their voting laws because of the history they had of Jim Crow and everything else. And so it kind of started the downhill trend of all these states wanting to erase people's votes. Now, what recently happened, Supreme Court decided that people can no longer sue. They can no longer sue when states are acting unjustly to erase people's votes, to illegally gerrymander out whole districts. Okay, so the reason for this is, the reason I've heard this given and what I want to concentrate today on is they said that they're getting rid of it because at the time we had a lot of racism in this country and we really needed a change. Well, in the years past, so many things have changed. There is no racism anymore, and so we don't need these laws to protect against it. Now, are there people out there that really believe racism doesn't exist anymore? I mean, to me, it sounds like something somebody would say, oh, I have a lot of black friends, so I can't be racist. It's the first thing somebody racist always says. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't have to even think that. So racism doesn't exist? It's funny how the people that usually say that are the ones that are the supremacist class. People who usually say that aren't members of a specific minority group or just other group that's not in control or isn't in generational control of the status quo and, how things have usually ran in this country. Whether someone's black, brown, Jewish, Muslim, Irish, Italian, how it used to be. But so now we're just in this space where we now have whole states that half of them are majority black populations that will no longer have representatives in Congress. Now, granted, sometimes people think, well, how can there be black representatives in Alabama or Mississippi or Georgia or Louisiana or any of these states? Well, a lot of the civil rights movement, a lot of people that fought for things have always fought for things. We're in the knee deep in Jim Crow. That's where the real energy lies. That's the people that fought for that. Now, John Lewis, God rest his soul, led the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, got beaten almost to death. A lot of people got arrested, but it was more that people just got brutalized. And the images of that, not only the government, but the Congress, the president, people really started to take notice and were like, hey, maybe these people do need voting rights. Maybe they do need their own representation so they don't feel constantly taken advantage of. So laws got passed, things got put in, and people got allowed to vote. There were no more poll taxes. There were no count the jelly beans in the jar to see if you can vote. So that got put in, and now where are we? Oh, now we don't need that anymore because no racism in this country. Nope, everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. Nobody has anything to complain about. It's funny how the people that say that are the ones in the ruling class. Now, granted, I might be white, but I'm Jewish too. So I've certainly gone through my own issues. And yeah, have things got better? Yeah, of course. But does anti-Semitism still exist? Yes. The reason I say that, I've experienced it, I've seen it. I'm a member of that class. Anybody who says that racism doesn't exist, ask a black person what they think. Ask them if racism doesn't exist anymore. Ask them if they have no fear of going down the street or getting pulled over by a cop or just, living their life how they should, but because of somebody's ingrained biases and generationally ingrained bullshit. Does it exist? Are they getting taken advantage of? I mean, that's where we're at. We have to stand up to this. We can't let people keep trying to garner the way we live. Right? We can't have people keep telling us how our lives are, how life is, when we know it's the exact opposite. How long will we stand by and let this happen? Now, do people say this because they don't care about other people? Maybe. But why? Why? Why do we say that? Empathy isn't a dirty word. Just because something isn't happening to us doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay. Does Jim Crow exist still? No. But you know what does? Microaggressions. People feeling uncomfortable for no reason other than their own biases. I have biases. Will you admit that you have yours? Does racism still exist in this country? We need to take a hard look in the mirror and ask ourselves what is really happening and what is worth fighting for. Do we give a shit at all about our neighbors? Do we love them like we hope they love us? Well, if you like what you heard, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And some parting words. Please, just love each other. Don't say there's not a problem when there most clearly is a problem, because then that makes the problem, the solution to those problems, a million times harder to receive. Progress isn't a bad thing in this country. It's trending backwards. We need to do all we can to make lives better for everybody. And we can't do that if we say everything is just fine. It's not fine. It's anything but fine. You just need to be there for each other, love each other, and know it's going to be okay when we stand up for someone other than ourselves, when we realize that the world is full of light. It's not dark, but there is darkness that we still need to illuminate. Let's not give up the fight before the game really ends. Never ends. We stand up, we love, we got to be there for each other. Please, I'm asking. Racism exists still, but it can be fixed. The Voting Rights Act needs to be put back in. We're about 50% there. We can get past it. We can get all the way, but we have to try. We have to admit what the problem is to fix it.